how do we talk to the average person about the Center for Political Innovation? Or how do we talk to the average person in general about what is really most important, what affects their lives the most? And it is economics. If you talk to the average person anywhere in the world, it's going to be about the basic needs, the basic necessities of life, being able to have those available, right, to survive. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And in some places, obviously, the standard of living is higher than other places, but basically survival, basic necessities, basic needs. So how do you describe something like the 4-point economic plan, let's say, to the average person, even in the United States? Well, let's take a look at that. It's important to have the academic version and to have enough space on a sign that you can put the basics of the 4-point economic plan, which is what we have done here in Los Angeles. But what is it actually? Well, what is it to mobilize the masses? What does that mean? Well, that means basically that everybody can participate. If you have a democracy, everybody should be able to participate. It's not just about elections, being able to vote, because a lot of people are feeling like their vote doesn't even matter anyway, so why vote? So being able to participate in the economy, and that requires actually doing the kind of work that CPI is doing, talking to you, wherever you are, talking to people, getting more information, educating ourselves, yes. You can say there's the academic version of that, but the average person is not necessarily going to resonate with the academic version. And there's public banks. What's a public bank? Well, you can I would make a comparison to a private bank. Like when you go to a private bank, how do they operate economically? It's for profit, right? Our system prioritizes profit, making money. That's number one priority. There's nothing wrong with money, but that's the top priority. It's not the people, it's not the customers, it's not those that would be in need. It's money or profits or material things. Those are considered the top priorities. And in the case of a private organization, a private business, it is owned by a handful of people or by one person, and top priority is profit. Because profit and command is a great way to explain it to some people, but most people may not understand exactly what you mean unless you simplify it a little bit. The next one is to have the nationalization, as it's often called, but even people may not understand exactly what that means. But public organization of natural resources, or public ownership, instead of private ownership. The former CEO of Nestle, who's last I saw was the interim director of the World Economic Forum, after Klaus Schwab stepped down. And his philosophy is that he thinks that all water on the planet should be for profit or privatized, with the idea that somehow those few of us that know how to own things and we can manage things better because we own it and because it's us doing it. We're better, we're smarter, because we have the approach that works. We can make profits off of it, so we must be doing something right. That whole mindset, right? You can justify doing anything, like, oh yeah, that's my land. Oh yeah, that's my oil. That's what the colonial mindset is, right? You can just take whatever you want because I'm smarter than these people. I know how to manage it better. But we have lots of natural resources, right? Not just oil. but there's timber, there's agriculture, there's all kinds of, there's minerals in the ground otherwise that probably out in Middle America, if you've ever been through Middle America, there's a lot of wide open spaces. So when people tell you there's too many people, like, well, get in your car or take a train, go across the country and see there's thousands of miles where it's open and there's hardly anybody around. Maybe in some of those miles there isn't anyone, right? So to say that there's too many people, that's obviously not true. And then an economic bill of rights. Franklin Delano Roosevelt laid it out in a speech on the radio. It was also made into a movie reel because they showed movie reels, at the theater along with the movies, with the news, because there was no television at that point. And he had a second Bill of Rights, like the right to an income and a right to education and a right to health care and a right to even recreation, fun things. So have a good life, a decent life. You know what I mean? Obviously, he passed away before that could be implemented. Eleanor, his wife, did take a similar version of that to the United Nations in 1948, and we do have the Declaration of Human Rights. But those four things, right? Mobilizing the masses of people to realize that everybody should get what they need. Public banks instead of banks for profit. Also, public ownership of the natural resources so that everyone shares in the ownership of that, which means maybe there could be dividends, right, for everyone, because we all benefit from what grows around us and on our own land. And we would need to go to Venezuela or Iraq or Libya to basically take what they have or rip them off to get it for ourselves at a cheaper price. And then the Economic Bill of Rights. If everybody had what they needed and could flourish with the basic necessities, imagine the possibilities. And also, too, degrowth. I want to talk about degrowth for a second. Degrowth is a scarcity mindset because whoever created that idea through the economic system wants you to think that there's just not enough for everyone. There is. It's how you manage it, how you produce it, and what your priorities are. There's enough for everyone. There's abundance for all. We have to be rational in how we do this. And the same thing in how we talk to the average person about what all this means. So I hope that was helpful, or we could continue this discussion. And always keeping in mind that the average person isn't going to be the academic, and they're not necessarily going to understand the academic version. Have a great day. I love you. Peace now.